Sound speeding.
Marker.
Oh wait, is this rolling? Yeah, it should be. Hope so. Welcome back, guys, to the GBM podcast. We're doing something a little bit different today. We're gonna do a walking podcast. That much is obvious.
We thought we'd stretch our legs a little bit.
Yeah.
Gets a little cramped up just sitting there for about an hour a day.
No, seriously. A great man once said, "You can never trust the thought you have indoors." So yeah, we're out on a stroll today, and we're
just gonna show you a little bit of our hometown, of our habitat.
Yes, we're gonna show you a little bit of our hometown. We're gonna tell you a little bit about the history of GBM, and we're going to what else were we? There was one more thing. We're kind of going to talk about a little bit of the philosophy of why we do what we do, where we do, which is Huntsville, Texas.
So, I mean, if you want to just start us off, talk about, how do you think at least Huntsville, kind of has shaped or kind of reflects your kind of philosophy with filmmaking, business,
So, I'll say we moved to Huntsville a handful of years ago, and I went to school here, studied film here, and our producer is telling us to
slow it down,
slow walks. Like we said, guys, this is very experimental what we're doing here. So we came to Huntsville, went to school here, made a lot of friends here, partied a little bit too much here, and it was a very nice place to do all that stuff because it's very quiet. It reminded me a lot of my original hometown that I'm from, but just a little bit bigger, a little bit more urban, a little bit more stuff to do. And there's something I hear people here in Huntsville say a lot, which is, "Oh, I don't like Huntsville because it's just such a, there's nothing to do," or, "Oh, there's, I want to go off to the big city," or whatever. And this kind of echoes back to people who will say, "Oh, I'm going out to LA to make it." I'm going out to New York to make it. And we were talking yesterday about a movie, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. There's this quote from that movie that we think is a good indicator of a person's, I don't know, I guess, sanity, which is wherever you're at, that's the place to be.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, because I think a lot of people they talk about Huntsville and they're like, it's like not big enough for them. There's not enough stuff to do and not enough things to see or whatever. But I think Huntsville, compared to because we came from a little small town, legit, just back roads, dirt roads town, and it's so to us,
Huntsville is a bigger city.
Yeah, no, we're holy crap, they have 3 grocery stores, but I think it's Huntsville is enough to where I'm not getting distracted and I'm not overwhelmed and with too much just stuff to do in the city, or I don't know, I have the right amount of people here. I have the resources that I need. Sure, maybe it'd be cool to have, I don't know.
There are certain cities, there are certain areas that are more predisposed to opportunities in whatever realm you're playing at. Huntsville, Texas might not be a place that has a lot of film studios that are looking to hire right now. But here's the thing. It has people that you know. It has people that you've grown up with. It has people that you can trust.
And I think it's important to say yeah, if you want to make it big, go into the big city. I think that's how you make it big. But don't just say oh, I'm in Huntsville right now, I don't need to try to make it now. Establish yourself in Huntsville. Establish yourself in this small town, and then do what you can in this small town, and then you'll be better prepared when you do go in that big city, instead of trying to just start fresh in a new big city.
So I disagree with the idea that the big city is where a person should go to make it. I personally think that this is just this is a really romanticized idea, but you can, whatever you want to do, just do it where you are. And that might sound condescending, it might sound impractical, but you there are people pretty much anywhere you go who have talents that are other than your own. And so
Right.
what you do is you look around and say, what do I have? Who do I know? What can they do? What can I do? Instead of, making excuses about why you can't do something in a specific place, make excuses of why this is make excuses of why this is a really unique opportunity.
Right.
Because the truth is, a place like Huntsville might not be the most fertile ground for something like a film studio or something like a whatever, but it might be the place where I meet someone who I go on to do a lot of great things in film with. And so just wherever you are, that's where you are. You just have to go, okay, there's certain unique opportunities here that maybe it's not exactly what I wanted, but I have to figure out a way to make it work. Because the whole going to the big city thing, you're just a small fish in a really big pond.
And don't get me wrong, I don't think that's the way. I don't think that is I don't think there is a way to make it. But
No,
I think
there's
that
not.
I think that is that's as far as culturally, that's seen as the way is oh, you just go to LA or you go to New York or something and just try to start fresh from there. But I think you have a better chance. Yeah, I think you have a better chance staying where you are. And I think it's a lot you probably have a lot more friends and family where you are who can help you than in New York, where it's you're just another Joe Schmo who's
Yeah, no, I totally agree. There was something there, you said something earlier that I wanted to respond to, but I lost my train of thought. But no, yeah, it's a beautiful day today in Huntsville.
Huntsville weather that we're famous for, obviously.
Yeah.
You don't get weather like this in the big city.
Hey.
You gotta.
Hey, it's keeping us out of the heat, It's
yeah.
But hey, we're not on the GBM podcast to talk about
Talk
the
about weather, yeah.
Hey, straight up. Nah, we're here to do some experimental podcasting. We're here to walk around. We're here to make our friend walk 5 feet in front of us for an hour.
With a heavy camera and an uncomfortable rig.
But yeah, we kind of wanted to walk around Huntsville today because really, this city is kind of a character in the stuff we've done. It's been where we've shot our student films, and you see a cool location and you go, all right, I want to write a little scene around that, or I want to whatever. Yeah. But
well, yeah, I think it's like Huntsville isn't it doesn't have all these notable destinations that you go to, but you just go drive around Huntsville for 5 minutes. You're gonna find take a turn that you never took before, and you're gonna find holy, I never even knew that was there. Just a weird piece of architecture, a weird building, a weird mural. It's like a college town, so that there's a lot of kind of youth and a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of kids in the town, but then it's also I don't know, it's not a huge big city like College Station or Austin or.
Another thing is, never underestimate the power of boredom. Boredom can be very good for whatever your creative project is, for whatever you're trying to make. What's up? Your mic good?
Yeah, I think so. I hope so.
Can you hear yourself?
Check. Not really.
All right, pause. Try again.
Check. Check. 1 2 1 2. Check.
Is it plugged in?
Yeah, it's plugged in.
Check.
Check.
So you're 1. Try again.
Check. Yeah, there it goes.
Check. No, that's me.
Shit. Check. There we go. Yep.
Okay.
All right. And we just seamlessly keep on walking. Seamless cut.
But boredom can be very beneficial to whatever project you're making, because I was just having a conversation with a friend earlier today, and we were talking about when and where we get our best ideas. And a lot of times it'll come when you're mowing the lawn. A lot of times it'll come when you're driving. A lot of times it'll come when the radio stops working, and now you're just stuck alone with your thoughts.
Yeah.
Don't say to yourself, oh, I'm in this boring town with these boring people, and I just, I'm never going to get anywhere being here doing this.
You know what kind of people say that the town is boring? It's boring people.
Right. Every time I'm out with someone and they say, yeah, Huntsville's okay, but I really just want to go to, a more exciting city, this and that. All I can think is, I'm fairly excited here.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fun here. I've made a lot of friends here.
Right. And it's like, I like Houston. Houston is awesome. I like going to like bigger cities, but it I don't know. It's like you're not always going to be in that city. So, like, are you just going to sit around and like wait until the next time you go to that city to have like an exciting moment? You're just going to like figure out what you're going to do right now in the town that you're living in.
And like you have to have this attitude of like, because you could say, oh, I'm screwed. I got unlucky. I got a bad hand. Or you could say, for whatever reason, I was born into this time. I was born into this situation, and maybe there's a reason for it. And maybe I should take advantage of what small things I can. And because another thing too is, in life, you're not always in control of what you can accomplish or what you're able to achieve, but in some ways you can be in control of how you feel about it or the kind of attitude you walk around with about it. I'm not saying it's always the easiest thing to always be positive about your situation, but it is kind of the only thing that is within your control.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's like I think that's kind of our whole identity is like, at least I relate to that pretty heavily, is like not you don't have the best gear, you don't have the best locations, not everything is like cut out for you, but just figuring out what you do have, figure out what you can get, and figure out what you can make, and just doing the best that you can. I was working on a project the other day for a class, a short film, and like I something went wrong during the filming, and the footage looked terrible. But I wasn't a DP. I was just the editor, and so I edited it, and I was like, man, I just did not feel good about it. It looked like crap, and so I was like, man, what? I kind of just chalked it up to like, whatever. This is just an L. This is an L. And then like I came back a couple days later, and I was like, I don't know. I looked at it and I was like, this is a bad piece of work, but not only because of the mistakes that were made, but also because of like the lack of effort that was put into it. So I tried my hardest to make it as good as I could, and I like just took out every single error that was like just amateur, that just should not like under any circumstances happen. And I was like 10 times more satisfied with how it comes out, just because it's like, yeah, like the footage doesn't look great. There was a lot of mess ups, but you figure out what you can fix, you figure out what you can make better, and like it looks like crap, but like that, like you can, I think you can at least hold your head up and say like, okay, like everything I did do, everything that I could have done was done. And like you just gotta like leave it all out there, and I don't know, it's kind of cliche, but it really is true. It's like,
focus on what you can control.
Yeah.
There's only so many things that, and I'm definitely guilty of this, there's only so many things that it will benefit you to worry about.
Right.
And if you know that you're giving your all at something, then it's a lot easier to sleep at night than if you know you left something unsaid, you left some deed undone. But so I wanna kind of pivot on topics. So, Kason, what are some other jobs you've had in Huntsville, and how do they inform your current skill set? Because, hey, guys, get a really crappy job as quickly as you can. Get a really crappy job and do your absolute best at it. And don't complain. If you can do that, you'll skip like the first 10 levels and you'll get to get onto the interesting stuff. But you got to do all that stuff really fast as you can. So, okay, one of my very first jobs, I delivered pizza, and it was cool because I pretty much got to ride around the city at night, see weird little corners of the city that I otherwise had no reason to explore to. Parts of the city that, frankly, felt quite dangerous to be in. And the only thing I had to protect myself was pizza. But being in service and also working in the food industry, it kind of, dealing with people made me realize what it's like to be a server. And from that point on, it made me want to interact with servers a lot differently. And so if you ever get the opportunity to embody a certain experience that, you otherwise normally wouldn't get to, do it. Go get the experience as quick as you can. And because then the more sides of you that you're able to tap into, the more kind of complex situations you're able to put yourself in, the more sides of you that will develop, and the more well-rounded of a person you're going to be. Even if it's something that you think is mundane, even if it's something that you think is, below you, or something that you think is, a waste of time. Every single experience that you are gifted has something to give you, has something to offer. Are you checking on levels? Yeah, I think it keeps bumping down.
Check. Okay.
How about check? Give me like one more point. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Crisp.
Well, I'll say that one of the it really wasn't a bad job. It was actually a really good job, but I was a bagger at a undisclosed grocery store, and I don't know. I think it informs you a lot, because like you see all walks of life. You see every kind of person, and I think you deal with like a lot of different personality types too, because some people really love customer service and they love the fact that they're being serviced. Some people, you can tell, are like have been in that kind of customer service role before, and they like see you and they're like, okay, like I've been here before, I know what like you're supposed to do, and I know like the kind of stuff you got to put up with, so I'm gonna make your job as like easy as possible. And like, they're not trying to cause a big scene, they're not trying to do anything crazy or try to get you fired or anything. And then there's some people who maybe have worked there before and feel a sense of entitlement, and they're like, no, I need to be serviced and you need to be trying harder.
But you know what you do when somebody comes to you and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna exact a toll on this person. I'm gonna make this person work harder for me. I'm gonna assert my will over this person. You know what you do? What are you supposed to do?
The thing, when I was younger, I would just be like, oh, screw them, I'm gonna be a douchebag to them. But I learned like pretty late in my like career there that like it really is for the best. Like if you're totally selfish and you only care about yourself, the best thing to do is just smile and wish that they have a good day, because it is more taxing on you to like
be vengeful,
right? And like it really does, like you just gotta, because you're dealing with so many people a day. You're dealing with like 100-something people a day, and so it's like it's better off to just be like, oh, that one person was just like had a crappy attitude. Because
here's the thing, you have to give these negative people you meet in any given situation, you got to give them the benefit of the doubt. You've been there. You've been at the grocery store and been in a really pissed off mood, and this service worker is just the first person that you are able to exercise it on. But like, maybe you went home, you felt guilty about it later. And so when somebody does give you, an attitude, and you're a service worker, or somebody gives you an attitude and you're whoever, CEO, doesn't matter. Like, they win if you continue the cycle of aggression. They win if you buy in and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna be a jerk back. But like, everyone wins if you just say, no, that's okay. I'm gonna.
I think even like I said, like even if you're just super selfish and you just care about yourself, it's a lot easier and a lot less taxing on yourself to care about that than to worry yourself about it. And like, also there's been so many times when like somebody like just like real like, real just like crappy attitude comes up, says something, could have ruined my day, but you just you keep a smile, you keep it pushing, right? And then the next person comes up, they see that you're happy, and then they're happy, and then they say something funny, they say something cool, they maybe give you a tip or something, and you're like, man, I'm glad I didn't let that freaking Joe Schmo over there ruin my whole day.
Yeah, because, I mean, you can call it karma, you can call it God. When you have a bad attitude about life, it only seems to get worse. Like, seriously. And yeah, I mean, there's enough negativity in the world, and when somebody is negative toward you, when somebody is testing your patience. Oh, okay. I just remembered. So like, I forgot who said it, but somebody said that it's really easy to be nice to the people that are nice to you. Like, everyone does that. Even bad people do that. But the test of a truly good person is being able to be good to even those who are bad to you.
I think a lot of people are gonna be watching this and maybe think this is like cliche or corny, but I thought that too. I really did. I was like a couple years ago, I probably would have thought like, oh, that's stupid. Like, if they're rude to you, just like tell them piss off or whatever.
It does sound cliche.
But it's true. It really is. Like, the reason it's cliche, the reason a lot of like cliches are cliche is because
they're true so often.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and I think it takes a really prideful person wants to develop their own knowledge. They want to say, no, I figured out a new way. I figured out a new way of being. But I think a truly wise person is able to look at things that have already been said and is able to find the truth in those things.
We got
Guys,
bicycle down there.
Let's just say, another thing is, if you're ever bored in life, let somebody else take you for a ride momentarily, because Eric has taken us to some parts of Huntsville that I've
never seen before
in a while.
With these really cool
we're walking
paintings of falcons, and
we're walking across a bridge.
Long-nosed bats.
There's a waterfall.
Lizard.
There's a bunch of pictures of like rattlesnakes and mice and bears.
Bald eagle,
toad. It says the names of it: brown pelican, ocelot, Texas blind salamander, black-footed ferret.
Oh, okay.
Shovel-nosed sturgeon.
Sturgeon, yeah.
Louisiana pine snake.
Louisiana.
Oh, it's Texas endangered species is what it is.
Oh, wow.
They've immortalized them on this bridge.
Yeah.
But yeah, another thing too is, going back to what we were saying earlier, regardless of your means, regardless of your resources, sometimes the deciding factor in your success is just your attitude, because it's like, there's no set amount of money that's like, okay, you win money, you win the game of money,
you're done.
The person who is just content,
you're done.
The person who is genuinely at peace with himself and where they're at, that's the winner. I mean, sure, like, if you want to take all the material success in the world but remove your ability to sleep at night peacefully, over maybe not having as much, not having as envious a life as, anyone else, but like being able to genuinely be at peace with what you're doing or how you're being, or, your mission, your purpose, whatever. I definitely think that having the right attitude about life makes it really hard to lose. We're at the park right now. Another thing, Jason, all right, so tell me what you think this means. So people always talk about like finding your inner child, and how it's a good thing. And in scripture it talks about like, unless you become like one of these little children, you'll not see the kingdom of God. You won't see, heaven, whatever. But then also you hear this term that's typically not a very good term, as the term of the man child. Oh, he's a grown child.
Mm-hmm.
So that sounds like two very similar things, but they have very different connotations. What's up there?
I don't know, because it's like, I think the distinction is when someone says like they're very childlike, I don't think it means like immature and like laugh at poop and pee jokes, right? I think it's like they're like always happy and like always like, like kids are always like don't want to go to sleep. They like always just want to like go outside and play. It's like you always want to like try to find an adventure. Like kids are like, you ever seen like a kid where they're like, their mom's like, oh, you gotta go to sleep, and they're like begging their mom not to let them sleep, and you're like, why don't you want to go to sleep? Like, it's really not that, like, what we're doing is not that like interesting right now. We're not doing, but they're like, no, I want to see something cool. I want something to happen. I think that's like, I don't know, that like childlike imagination and that like childlike kind of just eagerness and like appreciation for life, because it's like an appreciation that they don't want to go to sleep, that they don't want to be unconscious for a little while. That's an appreciation for life. And I think the man-childness comes from like, you hear like man-child, I see like someone who hasn't
constantly in a pursuit of some kind of escape.
Yeah, well, yeah, and hasn't like matured, has not
taken on the responsibility that they could have.
And when you
because that's the thing about a kid, you don't say a kid, that kid's immature.
Well,
like,
yeah.
Well, because they don't like pay bills or something. It's like they don't. That's not an actual responsibility of theirs.
Right.
But if you're
and I think like child is like a broad term. So there's like, there's obviously good things about a child. Like, oh, you want to stay childlike in the sense that you want to stay adventurous, but you don't want to stay childlike in the sense that you play video games and like play with action figures all day. And it's like, you have to mature. And I think a part of like that, like being like the childlike and like a man child and kind of retaining your inner child is like the same thing of like, a man child is not like super adventurous. He's not trying to go like find some fulfilling like life.
In a sense, it's like the man child is not nearly as adventurous as the child, because the like, you look at kids and they're just like 90-0, and they're so curious about everything.
Right.
Which also, like, curiosity is something that's honestly a really good trait to have. I mean, you don't want to go snooping where it's best left, untouched.
No, but I think being like kind of inquisitive and like
yeah. And I think that there's a huge difference between knowledge and wisdom. I think a grown person can have a lot of knowledge. They can know a lot about a certain subject, but not necessarily be wise. And yet I think a child who genuinely just comes at life with the right attitude, there's a wisdom in that. Like, if you've ever watched kids playing, like there's a wisdom to what they're doing. They might not have knowledge, they might not be able to do like algebra or something like that, but like they understand something that we kind of lose as we grow up and as we complexify the game of life, but finding a way to return to that while also being able to take on the responsibilities of adult living is like a huge feat.
Well, I think another thing too is like, you hear about somebody like growing up and like, I don't know, you hear somebody like losing like their childlike, like, I don't know, just the like,
childlike wonder.
Right. It comes from like a sense of like or like it comes from like jadedness. And I think that like I think a big part of like retaining your inner child is like not becoming jaded and like saying like, yeah, all these bad things have happened to me in the world, but like I still believe that there's really good things that are out there
That
and
could
really
happen,
good things that can happen.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, having that, like, I mean, you just like we said earlier, like you could take that, like, you know, negativity, and you could just be like, oh, okay, yeah, you know, let me just let it like kind of get to me and let it kind of define my life. Or you could just be like, okay, yeah, you know, I know I'm having a bad day, I had a bad experience or whatever, but like there's a lot better things. There's a lot more good things than bad.
Well,
that
not even that there's a lot more good things than bad, because I think somebody could also make the case that there's more bad things than good. But it's like the real tragedy of life is not that life is hard or that life is, you know, suffering, but letting suffering corrupt your, letting it corrupt your soul, letting it corrupt your sense of being.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, dude, I'm loving this imagery.
No, dude, I've never
sublime. Right there.
We're talking about like, oh yeah, go take a turn in Huntsville, like see where you end up. Like I've never seen this part of Huntsville.
I've been back here before with some friends. It comes to pretty much a dead end up here, unless we want to keep walking to the right.
Our producer's talking to us.
12:04 was when we started, and we are at 12:36. We still got a good bit of. Oh shoot, I just got a missed call.
Oh man.
It's an important call, but the podcast must go on.
So where do you guys want to go? What time is it first?
It says 23 minutes. Oh wait, no, it says 32 minutes.
32 minutes.
So, I mean, we can turn around. We can turn around and walk a different way back, or however you want to do that.
Reposition ourselves.
I'm going to call this guy as soon as we get off of this. Okay, so I want to kind of share something new that GBM has been doing. So we recently decided to make a switch to a completely different niche. Before, we were just doing video marketing for any kind of business, whatever. Right now, we're actually, I don't know if I want to share it just yet, because
right, I think
we won't share it. We won't say too much, but pretty much they always talk about niche down. The more specific you can be, and the more specific you can market to, the easier it will be to talk to who you want to talk to. And so we're doing that. We're in the process of doing that, and we're doing some like our first real attempt at some like mass cold outreach. At the same time that we're up in the warm outreach on content and stuff. And it's so interesting that in life, a lot of times, you have things that you know would benefit you to do, but you don't get around to them until much later. And I wonder why that is sometimes. Sometimes it'll be something so small. It'll be one task that I know will move the needle forward in the business, will move the needle forward on this project I'm doing. And for some reason, I just
don't want to do it.
Not that I don't want to do it, because it's like, you know that doing it would benefit you. But it's like, I heard some quote the other day that said, the natural state of man is distraction from distraction by distraction. And it really has me thinking, like, what is it to be here? Is it let me see how much money I can make while I'm here? Or is it, let me see, you know, how many girls I can get, or let me see how much the, you know, stuff I can amass? But that can't be it. It can't be just piling stuff up. It can't be just, you know, seeking endless praise from other people. It's got to be something more than that. There's got to be more of a reason to exist than those things. Because you could build a huge legacy. You could be someone who everyone on earth knows your name. And they build statues to you, but in 1,000 years, like, those are gone. Nobody remembers you. And so seeking the praise of others, that seems like something that just leads to a dead end. And so you ask yourself, what is the goal beyond, getting wealth or getting praise or something like that? What really is the reason for doing what I'm doing? And maybe it's one of those questions that just will never be answered, but there is some value, I think, in asking questions that have no answer. If for nothing else than to know that they have no answer. And that's another thing is, like, in a business too, like building a business is asking yourself the difficult question, like, all right, what thing am I ignoring right now? What am I slacking on?
Yeah.
What am I being willfully blind of?
It's like it's the Knights of the Round Table, like going into the forest at the point that seems the darkest.
Yeah, so the Knights of the Round Table, they're seeking the Holy Grail, which is the source of eternal life, and they decide, okay, we have no idea where this thing is. So where we're going to start is the point of the forest that looks the darkest to each of us individually. And it's like what you want most is where you least want to look.
Right. And I think it's like, I think the tricky thing with that is like, if you're applying it to yourself personally, is like, you oftentimes say like, oh, well, this is probably what I'm most scared of. When in reality, like, that's maybe like the second or third thing you're most scared of. And it's like, the thing that you're most scared of, you're oftentimes not going to admit that you're scared of it.
Yeah, you're not able to
or you're
admit.
going to recognize that you were.
Yeah. And the same thing with the returning to the inner child. In order to return to the inner child, because why is the inner child lost? A lot of times it's because of some pain we experience, whatever. And so it's like, in order to regain that, you have to, in some sense, overcome that pain and to seek it out and find it.
Right.
Hello. Once again, beautiful day in the park. We're walking by the play sets. It's very colorful.
Very childlike.
Very childlike, Oh man.
You should be playing on play sets and going on those swings and seesaws.
Yeah, if you want your business to hit six figures this year, ride the seesaw. Do the swing.
Do all your business mergers on the seesaw.
Yes, business merger. That's I heard this story about
Hey, what if we walk down here? Our producer just laughed.
So, somewhat unrelated, but kind of related, I guess.
Yeah, no, I don't think we get down there.
Lyndon B. Johnson used to make like reporters and people like that skinny dip in the pool with him, just because he was the president and he had that power, and he was like, yeah, you want to talk to the president, like, you're gonna skinny dip with me. That's I know that related to something somehow, but it's just honestly a mind-boggling thing to think about.
That's funny.
Huge abuse of power.
No, yeah, it's like, oh, that's so funny, and like Lyndon B. Johnson's so funny. It's but it is also, it's like, I have to get naked to interview you. Like, you're the president. I have to interview you. You're the one person like everyone wants to interview, and I have to get naked to interview you.
I could be, that could be complete misinformation on my part. So don't take that to
Lyndon B. Johnson. You guys didn't expect Lyndon B. Johnson slander when you clicked on the GBM podcast.
No,
today,
you
did
didn't. But that's your fault for expecting anything when you click on this, baby. What now? Oh man. Yeah. But back to just the idea of, so one thing I get asked a lot is, Parks, where do you get your ideas? Okay. And pretty much I just say, go on a walk, and you'll just be flooded with ideas. You'll be flooded with so many ideas you won't even know what to do with them. And guess what? They're all good. Every single idea you have,
you must and should see to its
completion. Every single idea you have, act on it.
It doesn't matter if you're in between 15 projects and flooded with work. You need to be doing more.
Yes. Your problem is not that you're doing too many things, and not that you're spreading yourself too thin. Your problem is that you're focusing too hard on one thing when you should be getting into 15 different side hustles. Your real problem is
your actual problem is
you should be buying NFTs.
No, your actual problem is that you're a loser and are probably going to go broke and are probably going to go homeless.
That's not true.
Because you're not working on enough projects.
I just want to say, if you're watching the GBM podcast, you're going to make it.
You're already ahead in life.
If you're watching the GBM podcast, you're already ahead.
We're going to Venmo everybody who watches $5.
Yeah, hey, guys.
Drop your Venmo in the comments.
Drop your Venmo link below. We're going to give you 50% equity in the company.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
It's about spreading the wealth, man. No, actually, going back to what I said earlier, most of your ideas probably aren't good. Most of your ideas are not good. Most of my ideas aren't very good. Most of my ideas are really harebrained. I come up with them right before I fall asleep. Unless it causes you to want to jump out of your chair to write it down, it's probably best to just leave it by the wayside.
I have a book in my room it's just like all of my ideas, like movie ideas, project ideas, whatever. And like I'll like every now and then, I've been writing it for a couple months. Every now and then I'll just read through it, and I'll just read an idea, read an outline for a script or something, and I'm just like, man, what were you thinking?
Hey, so somebody asked Paul McCartney, they're like, are you ever worried that you're going to forget a song idea? Like if you're on an airplane, you don't have a guitar by you, anything like that? And he pretty much said, well, if I forget the idea, it's not that good
enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's like, I think that is to say that like not all of your ideas are good, but also if you do have a good idea, I think you should act on it as soon as possible. And it's like, but and so maybe you come up with a good song idea and you have your guitar right there, write it right there. But if you're on a plane and you don't have a guitar and you think of a song idea, don't stress yourself about like, oh, what if I forget it? Yeah, because like if you forget it, it obviously wasn't good enough. Mitch
Hedberg had this thing where he said, my job is to write jokes, and if I'm in my hotel room and I think of something funny, he said, I'm gonna fuck it up because his delivery is so just like perfect, but he said like, I'll either write it down or I'll convince myself it was not funny. Nah, but that's another thing too. If somebody actually is wondering about our idea generation, sometimes it is legit just a process of, okay, is this good enough to take action on? Like, is this good enough to take action on? Typically, I'll ask myself, okay, has anyone done something like this?
Right.
Are we able to complete this tower before we start building it?
I think that I think some ideas are best half produced. Like ideas that you can do by yourself. Like why not? Like you get the spark. Maybe it's not the best thing you've ever written or the best thing you've ever done, but you get that creative spark. Do it right then. Do it right then. And if it sucks and it sounds like crap or like
what about scenarios where you're not able to, say you're on an airplane, say you have no way of recording, say you have no way of jotting down the idea, what do you do?
Then I think you sit there and you think about it and you chew on it for as long as necessary.
As long as time permits.
Right. And then as soon as you get home, you go, what was that song? And if you remember it, you write it down. If you don't, forget about it.
Another thing too is like, why do you want to have good ideas? Somebody said the other day that like when they're in a band, a common thing in a band is everyone has kind of different ideas and everyone is competing for their idea to win. But that's not good. You don't want to compete for your idea to win. You want to
Right.
cooperate so the best idea wins.
Yeah.
So when you have an idea, ask yourself, okay, why do I want to do this? Do I want to do this because it actually is something good? It's actually something creative. It's actually something that's going to make the world a better place. Or do I want to do this because I want to be recognized for something?
Right. Well, yeah, no, and I think it's important to, like, you have your ideas. Somebody has another idea on what to do. You argue about it, and you like discuss it, and never let it get in the way of the production of like you discussing it. But like, yeah, weigh out the options. See what everybody thinks. See like, you know, test your idea against another idea. See why, because it's like, okay, if you think it's a good idea, like there's a reason why you think it's a good idea. There's a reason why you think we should do it over everything else, and like, I don't know. Go ahead.
Always analyze your intentions. So
Right.
the thing is, you could have a really good idea of some horrible way to make people's life worse. There's plenty of terrorists and evil people who had great ideas on how to make the world a way harder place to live. So another thing is, like, I heard some quote, somebody said, you can't imagine how good things could be if you just stop trying to make them worse. And really think about that. Really think about, okay, maybe I have ideas, maybe I want to be seen as somebody who is, you know, an artist or something like that. But like, what would be the byproduct of everything I'm wishing for coming to fruition? Because guys, I'm going to lay it all on the table here for you. You get everything that you want. You get everything that you wish for. Like, so with that in mind, wish very carefully.
And
because
if it's a genie and you only get 3 wishes, ask for more wishes as your 3rd wish.
Yeah, because that's never gone horribly wrong.
No, yeah. I'm waiting for a genie movie to come out where the kid gets the genie in a bottle, and they make 3 very well thought out, safe, very just super plain wishes where they don't abuse the genie's powers.
And the genie's like, you didn't even have to think that hard about it. I wasn't gonna like try to fuck you over. I was gonna, like, whatever you said, I was gonna just give it to you just outright.
Yeah. He's like, I want a huge house, and the genie's like, I can give you a huge house, but you're gonna have to pay property taxes. Maybe ask for a puppy or a bike.
Oh man.
Genie scenario right now. What are your 3 wishes?
All right. Wish number 1. I'm wishing for a rule book so I know exactly how these wishes work.
Smart.
And I'm gonna read. And then second wish, I'm gonna wish for a genie lawyer, because I know that the genie handbook is gonna be full of a bunch of
right. Well,
small text and
yeah. No, it's a justice system. So it's like there's amendments and there's clauses, and you can argue your point to the genie.
Right. And another
beyond a reasonable doubt.
And only another genie is gonna know how to like navigate that. So yeah, genie handbook on the wishes. Genie lawyer. And
a lot of insurance on this one wish.
3rd wish, I don't know, like bowl of mac and cheese.
Nice. Very nice.
Wrap it up.
Okay, 3 wishes from me. 1 quadrillion dollars.
Quadrillion.
Wish number 2, to be the most powerful man in the world. And wish number 3 is to kill the genie.
That's not cool, man. He gave you all that stuff and you're just gonna
take it all away.
Man.
No, actually my wish would be to be the genie, because actually, as you can tell, I'm very curious on what people's 3 wishes would be.
And you would be one of those genies that's like, somebody says, I want a big bowl of mac and cheese, and you would make a bowl so big that it
like crushes you.
It crushes you.
And your genie's lawyer's like, well.
Or like messes up the Earth's atmosphere or something.
The atmosphere.
Yeah, and I'm like, not that big.
And I'm like, no more wishes.
Yeah.
And then I go into the
the exact type of genie this guy is.
No, I would be a bad genie, bro.
bad genie because you're.
I would not be a fun genie.
You would be an immoral genie, but you would be a very good genie.
By rules of genies, I would be a good genie.
Among genies, you would be well respected because you're a trickster. Our cameraman's about to get run over. Man, that'd be a way to end the podcast.
All audio for the rest of the podcast.
Oh, man.
We'd just like to thank you guys for taking this walk with us.
Yeah, seriously, guys, if you've watched this far, we appreciate you. Once again, we're Gore Brothers Media. We do video marketing for businesses. But also, above all, we just want to be good people. And we just want the world to be a better place, baby.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
You cut it. You cut this, I'll cut the camera. Dude, I'm not gonna lie.